Rob Bradley is a research manager at the Deloitte Center for Financial Services, specializing in banking and capital markets research. Prior to joining Deloitte, Rob led research teams at State Street, primarily focused on investor behavior, macroeconomic analysis, and asset allocation, as well as operations and business analytics, and was a founding member of the BSU employee network at State Street. He is also a faculty member at Boston College, where he teaches graduate courses on predictive analytics, communication, and leadership. Rob earned his bachelor's degree in economics from BSU, class of 2012, as well as a master's in applied economics, class of 2014, and a PhD in applied economics, class of 2020 from Northeastern University. You have a lot of twos in there too, Rob. Rob lives in Plymouth with his wife and 3 sons. Take it away, Dr. Rob.
Thank you, Alexis. It's good to be back. I'm really, really excited. This is one of my favorite things that I do. Honestly, I wish we could do these every week. I don't know how my work would feel about that if I leave for a couple hours every Wednesday, but I would do it. So I would like to introduce everybody to our guest speaker today. I'm really excited for this talk. It's perfect timing, and I got a bit of a taste of some of the things that Carl's going to be talking about today, and I think this is going to be incredibly helpful for everybody. I know I'm looking forward to it, and personally I'm going to benefit from it, so selfishly I cannot wait for this. So Carl Hollant, class of 2015, helps busy professionals get the body they want while eating the foods they love. He is certified in PN1 Nutrition, a science-based nutrition and coaching system, and is the owner of C4M Training Systems, a 24/7 mobile coaching app that provides clients with easy to stick to nutrition guidance and training protocols that will get you into the best shape of your life. So forget using crazy restricted diets that force you to eliminate all the food you love and say goodbye to spending 2 to 3 hours in the gym 6 to 7 times a week. It's time to simplify your fitness goals and adapt them to your lifestyle. Without further ado, Carl, please take it over.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on? Now, the funny story is, for some reason, I thought this was going to be in person, so I really have to adapt myself. Speaking about adaptation, Rob, to the Zoom world. But this is the life we live in now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and start presenting. There's a little interaction, so you guys can be ready to drop in any comments on the chat. Because I'll be looking for some answers, just to have you guys interact. And disclaimer: I am not a registered dietitian. I am not a doctor. I'm just a simple bear, just like you guys, that just figured out how to get this fitness thing to work for my brain and work for others. And I hope after the whole point of this presentation is, when it's done, that you guys are put at ease. So that fitness and nutrition isn't so overwhelming for you guys. So if that sounds good, we're gonna dive right in and figure this fitness thing out. All right, guys. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Boom. Okay. 1 second, folks. For some reason, it's not letting me share my screen. Share screen. Go.
So what happens, the more technology we have, the more convenient things get, but the more things can take time.
Did you guys see that?
Yep, we got you.
All right. Okay. So here we go. All right. Awesome. We're in. So lose fat, build muscle, and still enjoy your life. Apples are cool, but Snickers are better. Let's go right through this. So this is, basically a quick introduction to me. Rob already did this, but I'm an online fitness coach at C-Form Training Systems, PN1 certified nutrition coach, and I help folks remodel their birthday suit without giving up foods they love. So for you guys that are social media savvy, you can follow me on Instagram, logzo, LOCDZOE, or visit my website at cformtrainingsystems.com. All right. So here's a word that everybody dreads. The word diet. If we were to take the T out, that wouldn't be a nice word either. And this presentation is gonna kind of give you a different perspective on what that word really means. And I think that's where this whole thing, this whole fitness journey anyone wants to get into has to start with, okay? What does the word diet really mean to you guys? What does that mean? Society has a way of making us feel that we need to refer that word with the word restriction, right? I can't eat this, I'm on a diet. Or, hey man, going to the cookout. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, I'm down 10. I'm on the diet. I'm on the diet. Diet. And it almost, even in social things that you guys go to with your friends and social events that you go with your colleagues, oh, you're not eating X, Y, and Z. Oh, because I'm on the diet. I want you guys to start thinking of diet as not restriction, okay? Because who wants to live like that, right? Start thinking restriction, not the definition, but start thinking as diet as preference, okay? If we go back down to the origin of the word actually comes from the Greek word dieta. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but that means a way of life, how you live your life, your specific lifestyle. So if your way of life includes foods that you actually enjoy to eat, I don't know about you guys, but I love food. I love me some Ben and Jerry's. I love me some pizza. I love me some tacos. I love me, I cook most of my food, but I'm not a dry chicken and broccoli out of Tupperware type of dude. So if your way of life includes an abundance of just, things in your palate that you enjoy, eliminating them from your diet is setting yourself up for failure. Okay. And so we want to see what the formula is here, right? And it comes down to a word that I'm going to show you guys. Physique optimization is impossible without this, okay? It's like you have to get through this first step if you want to, quite frankly, look good with your clothes off, okay? And that word is adherence. Adherence, compliance, same thing, right? What can I do and how can I keep doing it consistently? Okay. So this was me eating foods that I love to eat, and this is me eating foods that I love to eat. How does that make sense, right? So I took the concept of macronutrition and put it in I would say a system, right? Or an approach that I call the C4 modular nutrition approach. This is the way I look at, this is like my lens of looking at nutrition. So I hope you guys like analogies because I'm like an analogy fanatic. And I'm going to break this down. We're going to try to keep the science out of it just to keep it simple. But obviously there's a lot of science behind it. But I just want to make it make sense so you can take it and apply it to your lives, okay? So this is you, all right? Imagine this is you, this is your body, okay? Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, that's Carl, that's Rob, that's Alexa, that's Stacy, okay? imagine yourself as a modular home. Okay, modular. What's a modular home? Modular home is a home that's customizable, right? Imagine yourself as a modular home, customizable to you. Okay, how you want the home to look is up to you. All right, I'm not going to come over here and say, hey, you should have hardwood floors in your home. If you don't want hardwood floors, it's my home. Why are you telling me to have hardwood floors in my home? Okay, so think of your body as a customizable home. Okay, what you see, what your ideal physique looks like is up to you. That's you. I might want, big arms. Someone might want big, whatever that look is. Vision, close your eyes and just imagine that. Imagine what that dream physique is. Okay. Now, like any home, right? If you want a bigger home, I want a mansion. I want 10,000 square feet, man, with the pool and the white picket fence and all that good stuff. I want a castle, right? If you want a bigger home, okay, you need more material. You need a lot more material, okay? And vice versa, if you want a smaller home, okay, now guys, remember what the home is, okay? If you want a smaller home, all right, you need less material, okay? So I want you guys to go in the chat real quick, give you like 30 seconds. What do you guys think material is? What do you guys think material is? Drop in the chat for me real quick. Let's make this a little interactive. Can I go to the chat? Yeah, there's my mouse. Okay, I see chat's filling up. I see the chat filling up. Okay, we got calories, food, protein, time, exercise, calories, nutrition. All right, you guys are on the money. All right, but Kate, I like the simplicity. Okay, yes, it's food. Okay, let's see. Go back here. Play. Yes. All right, it's food. Hey, how do I get out of this chat here? Sorry, guys. I don't see my mouse for some reason. Oh, okay. Oh, that works. All right, cool. We'll go with here, right? Yes, it's food. Okay. So, like any home, there are bills and expenses that need to be paid, right? There are bills and expenses that need to be paid. What do you guys think? Actually, we'll get to that. You guys get me excited already, okay? So you have bills, you have the modular home that you want to build, okay? Someone might want a huge mansion, someone might want, a small house, whatever that is, right? You need to establish a budget, okay? And just like someone said earlier, and I want to see if you guys can figure this out too, okay? What do you guys think? Sorry, guys. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties here. Where's Zoom at? Zoom. There we go. All right. Awesome. Am I out of the meeting?
We still got you. We can see you.
Oh, am I here? Okay. For some reason,
Yeah.
it says I'm out. Sorry, guys.
No
All
worries.
right.
You're doing great.
We're back. So here, okay. I'm gonna go back here. All right, play. All right, so going back, right? We have the home, okay? And the material is food. And depending on the type of home we want to build, we need a budget. What do you guys think the budget is? Drop in the chat real quick. I'll give you guys like 20 seconds. I like it, Amanda. You're already ahead of the game. You too, Stacy. You too, Hillary. I like it. I like it. Yeah, Alexis. There we go. 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 All right. Yes. Go back here. Yes, it equals calories. All right. Your budget is your calories. So I'm going to drop in the chat a link that I give a lot of people on social media to a Google Drive doc that has a training. You guys don't have to look at it right now, but there's a PDF attachment that you can grab. And it's basically like a breakdown of some simple math on how to figure out what your budget is. Okay. Now, disclaimer, everyone's different and everyone reacts different. These are more so rough equations to give you an idea of where you fall. When I take clients on, we kind of go a little bit deeper, figuring out, exactly what their lifestyle is to see where that falls into. No matter what it is, though, there's no perfect ratio or, calorie range, or you have to test it. Okay. You have to think of yourself as a, because, as much as we want to refer to the analogy of you being a home, there's no fixed price, right? Everyone's different. And, you need to, and you'll see on the PDF, I explain it a little bit, but you have to basically test a number and see how you react to it. A lot of folks, they'll just, hop on a calorie deficit or whatever, and a weekend, it's not working. And all of a sudden they change the plan, right? That's not what you want to do. You want to see how your body responds and keep as many variables out of the equation so you know what result you're eliciting. Okay, so let's dive right back in there. You guys can use that PDF as a reference because it'll probably make this this presentation a little smoother for you guys. All right, so I'm gonna leave the screen up here so I can just get on the chat. All right. So once we figure out what our budget is, okay, once we figure that out, it's time to spend some money. Time to spend some money. So get your thinking caps on, right? And the PDF kind of gives it away, but we're gonna still dive into this, right? And right before we get in there, right, this is something I like to, I tell people all the time, and I really want you to wrap your mind around this, okay? Think of calories, right? Calories is what determines what the scale says, right? The number that nobody wants to look at in the morning. Oh my God, I'm up 5. Oh my God, I'm up 10 or whatever, right? Calories tell you what the scale is going to say, right? That's what determines what the scale is going to say, because it comes down to energy balance, right? But the distribution of those calories, right, where those calories come from, is going to determine what the mirror says. So you have to ask yourself which one's more important to you, right? Again, going back to like societal pressure and views, there, for some reason, there's, that number on that scale, right, can make or break somebody. Oh my goodness. That, like, people have a way of associating their worth with that number, when in reality, that number is just a form of data. It's just a tool that you can use in your arsenal in this whole thing, so you know what's happening inside, right? Oh, I'm up 5 pounds. What time did you eat last night? I ate at 11 p.m. and I woke up at 5. Maybe you just have more food in your system because you ate later. You know what I mean? These are the things that, like, disconnect yourself with that number and remember that it's just a tool in this whole process. Because I'm assuming everyone that's here wants to look better in the mirror. If I said tomorrow you're gonna get your dream body, but the scale is gonna stay the same, would you guys be upset or would you be happy? Drop in the chat real quick. Would you be upset or happy? Glorious, thanks, man. Yeah, happy. Yeah, right. What's a number got to do? That's like saying my phone number starts with 617 instead of 508. Oh my goodness, people are gonna judge me. You know what I mean? But the scale is just a tool. It's just a tool. Now, is there a correlation between weight and longevity? Yes, there is. We're not going to get into all that, but everyone's genetics are different. Everyone's built differently. Some people have bigger bone structures. Some people have smaller joints. you know, and body fat percentages and all that stuff. So you, again, use it as an indicator of what's going on inside, but use the mirror to really gauge what your progress looks like. All right, guys. So let's dive into this, right? Like any home, right? Going back to the home, right? We got bills, okay? What do you think? I want interactive again, right? Drop in the chat. What do you think the number one bill, if you have a home, you own a home, or you're living somewhere, what's the number one bill that's important to you? Drop that in the chat. Kate said mortgage. Who else? Who else? Who else? Rent, mortgage, mortgage. Electricity, please repeat. My computer just did. So the question was, Kate, right? You have the home, right? You got the home, you established your budget, okay? And you're ready to spend some moolah, right? It's time to make this home HGTV worthy, right? I'm about to move that bus, right? All right. So what is the most important bill in that home? All right. A lot of people saying rent, mortgage. Some people saying electricity, energy. Give you guys 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Protein. Okay. What am I saying? Okay, I jumped the gun. It's rent. It's rent. It's rent. It's mortgage. All right. Think of protein as your rent. Definitely jumped the gun there. Okay. Yes. So you guys that said rent or mortgage is correct. Think of protein as your rent or your mortgage. Okay. All right. What we got in the chat here? Ha 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 ha. Yes. Yes, Monty. Right. Okay. If you don't pay that, failure of payment will result in muscle eviction. All right. Your precious muscle gets kicked out. And why that's so important and paramount to what we're discussing today, let's go back to the mirror, right? A lot of folks, when they lose weight, they kind of just get smaller. All right. Now, again, everybody's body image and what you see, how that looks like in your head is different. No one's judging anybody, but how we do it at C-Form, it's all about physique optimization, okay? As lean body mass, because it has benefits for health anyways. And, you know, I'm a guy that likes to eat food. The more muscle on your body you have, the more food you can get away with. So if there's an incentive, if you're a foodie, drop in the chat if you're a foodie, if you like food, or you can even tell me what's your favorite meal. Drop that in the chat, right? If you're a foodie like me, okay, your incentive is to get as much muscle as possible. And that's not happening unless you hit your protein goals every single day. All right. Now we're talking about optimizing. Can you get away with less protein? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you here that aren't, eating crazy amounts of protein and are alive, right? But you guys are also here because there's a certain look that you're trying to achieve, right? Let's see what the chat say. Brownie batter donut season starts today. Let's go. Anything with pasta. I love me some pasta. Anything with soup, chicken parm, soups, fish. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are getting me hungry. Pasta and cheese. Pizza. I love pizza. Oh my goodness. Yes, guys, if you guys want to eat an abundance of these or more of these, my best professional advice is to put on some muscle mass. And the way to do that is by eating a lot of protein. Okay. If you go refer back to the PDF that I dropped early in the chat, I usually tell folks and a lot of my clients, we shoot for a gram per pound of body weight or lean body mass. What does that mean, Carl? Lean body mass means whatever part of your body is pure muscle. Okay. How do I find that out, Carl? Well, if you want to get really nitty gritty about it, there are some companies that offer body scans. There's a scan that I used called Fit3D. Actually, we did a story when I was working at Bridgewater, we did a story on an alum that works at a place. It's like a boutique gym called R3 Built. I forgot her name, but they have one in there. And there's another gym in Braintree called Bayshore that offers that service. I think it's like $50 or something like that. I don't know if the price has changed since, but you can do a DEXA scan if you want to get as intense as figuring out your bone density. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. You just gotta find our good friend Google and look these things up. Because for example, if I have a client that's 400 pounds overweight, right, and clearly isn't 400 pounds of muscle, I'm not going to prescribe them 400 grams of protein a day. You know what I mean? One, that's yikes. That's a lot of protein, and two, that's not their lean body mass. So, for the relatively relatively lean individual, yeah, I shoot for a gram per pound of body weight as a minimum, just so they can get the most out of it. And for those that are a little bit more overweight, we usually go find out what their lean body mass is and try to shoot for that number a little bit higher. Because the beauty of protein as a macronutrient, not to get all sciencey and stuff, but that's the one macronutrient that has the highest thermic effect versus the others, like carbs and fats that we'll cover later. And virtually you can't store it as fat. That's the beauty of protein. You just can't. There's research that backs it up. Don't ask me to bring up a bunch of articles, but protein is one of the best things you can add to your diet or distribute differently in your diet to optimize your body composition. All right, let me know if that makes sense in the chat, guys, and then we can start moving on. I know that I was ranting there. Awesome. Yeah, thumbs up or anything. I just want to make sure everyone's with me here. Makes sense. Great. Yeah, the whole point of this, guys, is to keep things simple, so you leave here not being overwhelmed, because fitness can just be like a rabbit hole. Yes, makes sense. Super helpful. All right, awesome. All right, let me drop this here so I don't have to pull it back up. Okay. All right, so drop in the chat, what do you guys think the next most important bill in the house is? All right, we got our rent, we got our mortgage. We've taken the money out of our budget for our modular home and put it aside to make sure that we hit rent every day, so our muscle sticks around and has a good time as a tenant. What do you think the next most important bill is in our beautiful modular home? Heat, electric. Yeah, baby. Yes, electricity. All right. I love it. You guys are on the money here. Heat. Okay. So everybody's favorite macronutrient right here, carbohydrates. Okay. Think of carbs as your electricity bill. Failure of payment means no electricity, lights out. Quick little spiel on carbs. That is and there's research that backs this up. This is our body's preferred source of energy. Our brain literally uses glucose as energy, okay? And I don't know about you guys, but things like keto diets or low carb diets, or just trying to eliminate yeah, bro, I need to lose weight, so I'm not going to eat rice or bread, right? You guys hear that all the time. I don't know about you, but every time I would cut carbs out of my diet, because I've tried a billion fads, right? This is usually how I feel. Just straight up, like I can't move. I feel, my strength goes way down. I'm super lethargic. Like, it's just not a good time. And I don't know about you guys, but I like bread. I like rice. I like carbs. I just like carbs. So carbohydrates I would say, comes after protein. Okay. Now, someone else was saying heat, right? That brings us to fats. Think of fats as your heating bill. Okay. Failure of payment means no heat. Your heat's cut off. Okay. And the cool thing about fats is and there's team carbs, there's camp carbs, there's camp no carbs, camp no fats, right? Fats is a source of energy as well, but it's not a preferred source. But you still can use it as energy. It's a little bit slower versus carbs, which is readily available. And people that for example, that are historically maybe like pre-diabetic or have insulin sensitivity issues, I might prescribe them a little bit higher on fats than carbs. Again, I'm no doctor, but from what I've seen, it works better. And at the end of the day, if you guys go back to that PDF, right? Fats and carbs, as long as your total calories are equated for, it doesn't matter which one of each you have more. It just got to fit your lifestyle. Think of the carbs and fats as your preference, like a database or whatever you want to call it, right? You might be someone that likes eating fattier meats, or you might be someone that likes to eat more rice. As long as the budget, right? As long as the budget is where it needs to be to build the home you want, okay? So, the scale stays in check, and the protein is where it needs to be. Your rent, right? You're paying the mortgage, you're paying the rent, so you actually look good, okay? Then how the rest is distributed is up to you. That's the beauty of this, right? It kind of unlocks this nutritional freedom that people think that they don't have when they do. You just have to kind of put a little bit of work behind it, but once you figure it out, you can literally live the rest of your life eating whatever you want. Okay. So, and then another thing with fats is that hormonal health, right? Fats, you want to have some fats in your body because it's good for your hormones. Okay. We're not gonna get too deep into that, but just an FYI, just leaving that out there. Okay. Next bill, fiber. Okay. What I want people to drop in the chat. What do you guys think fiber, what bill that would fall under? Drop in the chat, give me 20 seconds. What is fiber? Because everybody's on the money. Everyone's saying electric, heat, rent. Got some, it's that bare education right here. That bare education. Okay, you got grocery, you got plumbing. What else, guys? What else? Anyone? All right, these are good guesses. Okay, so fiber, right? Yes. So plumbing and sewage, right? Fiber is your sewage system. Okay, fiber, trash. Yeah, that you can say trash too. Yeah, fiber is your sewage system or the trash, the trash man. Okay. Let's go here, right? Whoops. Failure of payment will result in a sewage backup. Okay. I don't know how many guys go to the royal throne and have this look on their face. And you're like, why? What did I eat? Why do I look like this? Right? A very unpleasant time. Okay. Fiber has something to do with that. All right. Fiber is super important for us. That's basically what helps with our digestive system and pushes everything out. Okay. Got soluble fibers, insoluble fibers. A lot of from a body composition standpoint, fiber isn't as important as like carbs, fats, protein. There's a hierarchy, right? The budget, right? But I like honing down on fiber with my clients because it's basically forces them to eat their fruits and vegetables, which our doctor's been telling us since we were like 5, right? Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, right? So that's kind of like a way, and I usually prescribe maybe like 25 or 30 grams a day. Everybody's different, but you want to get in fiber, so one, your gut isn't stocked up with whatever you ate for the past 2 days, and two, that you're healthy. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to eat that stuff. It's just the way it is. Maybe blend up a bag of spinach, or there's also supplements that do that, but I'm not a huge fan of supplements because I think you can get most of this stuff from real whole foods. Okay. And another thing too, talking about data collecting, right? Fiber, depending on what your fiber is, it's going to show up in your stool. And whatever that stool looks like is an indicator on what's going on inside. So if you're looking like Spider-Man over here and it's tough to come out, you probably need some more fiber. Now, fiber's tricky too, because if you eat too much fiber and not enough water, that can be a whole other, you can literally have like a concrete block in your stomach, and that's not fun either. So yeah, fiber is definitely something you want to include in your diet, and it has a lot of health benefits as well. Okay. And the best way to have fiber is to eat your fruits and vegetables. There's some in grains too. I left some examples on that PDF too. All right. And then it comes down to our next bill, right? Hydration. Okay. Some of you guys wrote water, so we'll jump right into that. Failure of payment will result in systemic failure. All right. Bottom line, you got to drink water. we as Homo sapiens, right, are literally 70% water. Okay, so it's probably your best interest to drink some water. Drink some water, right? I usually tell people, okay, you want to shoot for half your weight minimum in fluid ounces. So if you have a person that's 200 pounds, you want them to drink at least 100 fluid ounces of water, right? That's almost a gallon. A gallon's about 128, right? So yeah, water is super, super, super important. You want to be hydrated. Our cells feed off of that stuff. And it's just great. It's just great, you know. Drop in the chat if I'm making sense so far. If you guys want me to reiterate anything before I move on. Awesome. Just want to make sure I'm making sense. I want to make sure that I'm simplifying this whole nutrition thing. Great metaphor. Hey, I love metaphors. I love analogies. I just, you know, if you can't explain it to a fifth grader, do you know? You're very entertaining. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had to, you know, guys, I really had to, you know, look at it through this lens for it to make sense to me. You know what I mean? I was in the same shoes as a lot of you guys. And you know, it gets very overwhelming. It's sometimes you just wonder like what's right, what's wrong. And I just had to really, you know, went through a lot of trial and error, but had to really sit down and figure out, you know, how does this whole thing work and how do we simplify it? Okay. All right. So let's see. Next slide. Right. Yeah. Water. Yeah. That's what happens. Love the weight as a way to know how much. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very helpful. Never thought of it that way. I'm glad. A lot of folks, when they get that analogy this way, it's like a light bulb goes on. So if your light bulbs are going on, I'm super, super excited for you folks. Super excited for you folks. So 5-minute warning. Okay, let me blast through this. Takeaway. That perfect timing. What's the takeaway, guys? What's the takeaway? It comes down to principles versus methods. You guys have heard of all these different diets, these ketos, paleos. Drop in the chat real quick on any diet that you've tried in the past year or two. Real quick. South Beach. I don't know if I know the South Beach diet. Weight Watchers. Oh yeah, Weight Watchers. Yep. Intermittent fasting. Yep. So, and one give me one. Whole30. Okay. So the takeaway of this whole presentation, guys, is to focus more on principles versus methods. Okay. Methods are how to do something. Principles is that something. If we take intermittent fasting as an example, correct? What is intermittent fasting? I can only eat food between 12 and 8 o'clock. All right. Intermittent fasting, I lost weight. Why did you lose weight? Because I'm intermittent fasting. Or is it because you only have such a limited window of consuming calories and in result are consuming less calories? The budget, remember that, guys, right? And because you did that, you lost weight. Oh, well, bro, I used the keto diet. Okay, you eliminated carbs. What does that mean? You're eating less food. What does that mean? You're eating less calories. What does that mean? The budget's smaller. What does that mean? You lose weight. Okay, Weight Watchers is a great one, right? Weight Watchers goes by a point system. Oh, they give you a certain amount of points. Budget, right? They give you a certain amount of points, and depending on what you eat, you're taking away from those points. So whatever the budget is for that is going to dictate the size that you want to be. It's all the same thing, guys. It's all the same. What you have to figure out, okay? The big takeaway on this, right, is adherence. What, right? There are no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. You have to find out what works for you, okay? You might like the keto style. You might not. You eliminating carbohydrates and not tracking anything else might work for your lifestyle, and that's okay. You know, Weight Watchers might work. Whole30 might work for you. Intermittent fasting, maybe you're the type of person that likes to only start eating at a certain point and cutting it off at a certain point. That's fine, but there's nothing magic about the method itself. You understand the principles behind it. The fitness industry is just there to make money, right? Yeah, this is the best way. This is the best way. This is the best way. We need to like take that word diet back, okay? Get the restriction out of it and really think, what's my preference? What works for my lifestyle? All right, guys? Or put somebody, all right, in your corner that will give you a cheat code. And you know what that cheat code is? That cheat code is accountability, all right? Now we're gonna get a little bit more into the mindset things, right? It might be your mom, okay? It might be your dad. It might be a coach. It might be a coworker. It might be your spouse. It might be a coach. It might be your best friend, right? It might be your cat. It might be a group, okay? A support group. It might be a coach. Yeah, so other factors, right? I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. All this nutrition stuff, right? It's important. It's the main focus of all of this, but you're cutting yourself short if you don't focus on other factors. Resistance training. If I highly recommend resistance training. You don't have to go lift 500 pounds tomorrow and be a bodybuilder to get some resistance training. I recommend people that lift, I would say a minimum of 2 up to 4 times a week. If you can only do one, do one. You know what I mean? You want to pick what, again, lifestyle. What can you do and do consistently? All right. Because you want to build muscle. And the more muscle you build, the more calories you need to maintain it. So you get to eat more food. Who doesn't want that? All right. Walking, cardio, heart health, right? When I was at Bridgewater, I was seeing people, taking their steps. It's great. Walking is amazing. Walk often. You want to move. A lot of people complain that their metabolism slows down because they age. It's not that your metabolism slows down. It's the fact that when you were, a teenager, you were, playing sports, walking to class, playing with your friends outside. And all of a sudden, fast forward 10, 15 years later, you're at the 9-to-5 job. You're sitting at a desk. You're less active. You're stuck in traffic. You get home and you're like, I just want to put on Netflix. The lifestyle has changed. Age and metabolism doesn't really slow down until you're like 60 plus. Okay. And then 2 super underrated factors. And Rob, let me know if I'm taking up the time, but sleep, super, super, super underrated. All right. Stress, super underrated. If your mission today, right, if you didn't get anything out of this presentation, if you really want to maximize and optimize your fat loss, sleep and stress is paramount to that equation. There's a stress hormone called cortisol in our body, right? That when we don't sleep enough, or the cat died, or the boyfriend broke up with us, or you just had a bad day, okay? These are factors in the fat loss process and will hinder it, right? Cortisol spikes up, and fat loss is just a lot harder. Your body just doesn't want to do it because it's under stress. It's like, help. All right, hold on to everything, right? And guess what? It's going to hold on to fat because it wants to survive. Your body doesn't care about how it looks. It just wants to survive, okay? So sleep and stress, sleep, what I tell people is you want to shoot for a minimum of 7, anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep, okay? And the best way to get sleep, I would say, get in a dark room, keep it cool, stay away from lights, have a wind down routine. And then stress is, just mindfulness. Like if you can't control something, leave it alone. If you had a bad day at work, do you have control over the situation? If you don't, leave it alone. These little kumbayas, right, it's like a huge part of this whole thing, right? And that's why this is a lifestyle. Okay. It's not just a diet. You get on a diet and then you get in shape. No, this is how you want to live your life. All right. Yeah, mindset. You know, you gotta really want to do this. You just you have to program your brain. If this is something you want to optimize your physique, you want to look good, you want to have longevity, you want to live longer, you want to you know, get the dream body that you want, right? It all starts here. Okay, it all starts here. You gotta want it bad enough. You know, obviously having a coach can help you through the process, but at the end of the day, signing up with a coach or having an accountability with a group or a bestie or your whoever, right, isn't going to get you the result. You have to get the result. Okay, you have to put your mind that this is a priority and that no one's getting in the way. Okay. Final thoughts. Um, that's Rob. I'm wrapping up here, right? I'll leave this with a quick story, right? It all started, this whole transformation, and I've lifted weights, you know, since I was like, 16, playing football and all that good stuff. But this is when the diet part really entered my life and changed my life. It all started with being in the office when I used to work at Marcom, and where Roby, my boss at the time, right, told me we were going to have a pool party for the office, and everyone knew I was the weightlifter in the division. So, he's like, yeah, man, you're going to be in the pool, man, shirt off. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, oh, crud, like, I don't really I'm not comfortable with my shirt off. And, he's like, yeah, man, we can't wait to see your abs. Cause everyone thinks just because you touch a weight, you have a six pack. Right. So when I went back to my space, I literally was like tormented. I was not trying to get embarrassed or anything. Like, it was in my mind for the whole day. And I said, you know what? I made a decision that day and I hired a coach that night. And that's why in my bio on Instagram, it's the trigger word to DM me is ready, because I took action that day. I didn't wait till Monday. I'm going to start the diet Monday. I'm going to start this then. No. If you're going to say you're going to start it and don't start it now, you're not going to get it done. You're not. How many times have you guys said you're going to start something when it comes to your health, nutrition, and you just kind of like, oh, it kind of just goes away, right? So I had a coach that night. I learned, went through the process, started to track my food, started learning these principles, and then eventually, broke off, did it my own, and then fell in love with the process. I have some clients that are on right now. Some of them were even guinea pigs before I even started the business. And I fell in love with it because, the physical transformation is one thing, but what you get out of that, right? Fitness is a force multiplier. When you do something, right, you take action and make it a lifestyle and show yourself that I did that. I did this, I accomplished this, I took it a day at a time. I put in, every day is like a chance to get a brick, right? At the end of the day, if you do everything you're supposed to do, you get that brick. And it might not seem much, but those bricks add up. And eventually, going back to the home analogy, right? Eventually, over time, you look back and you're going to see a mansion behind you, right? So it gave me confidence. It seeing, from the physical standpoint, the fact that you do a little math and now you're really seeing something change in the mirror, it's paramount. And it allowed me to take a chance on myself. I love Bridgewater, that I'll always be home, but I took a chance on myself to start this thing, and I'm loving it. I love my life right now, and the way I view things is so different because of this little thing, right? And my wife would probably kill me right now for calling it little, right? But this huge thing, right? Fitness literally changed my life, and I'm not saying you guys are going to get in your bikinis and be a bodybuilder tomorrow, but it will teach you something about yourself, and you'll be able to live a little bit longer. So those are my final thoughts. And if you guys have any questions, I don't know, Rob, how we want to do this. I also have some clients that are on that can share their experiences too with all of this. So I don't know where we're going from here, Rob, but you let me know.
Yeah, we'll open up to questions. So if anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll keep track of those and share them with Carl. And yeah, I don't know if Stacy and Connor and anybody else, if you want to turn your video on or anything, just to make your presence known. I mean, I think I'll say a couple things. In terms of an Aluminar, this don't tell anybody else who was here. I don't think any former hosts or guests are here, so this might be my favorite one. Very entertaining, super helpful, really incredibly like tactically useful, which is really, really tricky. And then also, I don't know about everybody else, but I feel leaving, I grabbed that PDF that you dropped, and it all makes perfect sense. It all seems pretty straightforward and easy. And as you said, it is much more of a it's not the method for it. It's kind of like what's the purpose of all this, right? So you get to pick that and use it yourself. You said you weren't going to get sciencey, but you did just enough to be convincing. So I appreciate that. And then also I'll say too, the fact that you have a couple, or at least two clients here that wanted to join you is a pretty good testament to you that they're willing to show up for you. So anybody have any questions? If not, one thing I'm curious about, Carl, is like, in this process, I know you said obviously like accountability is hugely important. That is clearly a good first step. But other than that, like if the person who's going to keep me accountable is my wife, she's not the coach, so she's not going to be the one telling me what to do, but making sure and checking up on me and stuff like that. What's a good first step in terms of like, again, like tactically getting yourself on this path that you would suggest that works? Because like you said, you're not going to be a bodybuilder tomorrow, so you don't need to go, see how much I can bench press in the gym right now. But what's something that everybody could do that would at least get them moving, get the momentum going?
Okay, so I have two avenues for this, right? Number one avenue is start small. Okay, we have a way as overachievers to kind of just want to, all right, cold turkey tomorrow. I'm gonna prep all my meals. I'm gonna get rid of the rice. I'm gonna do all this and just go at it hard, bro. And then in a week, you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And then Friday night you go out, and then you just like you get on this cycle, and then it's over. Okay. And depriving yourself isn't a good thing. And again, going back to that adherence point, right? Um, if you don't wake up in the morning, if you wake up in the morning and you're just like, oh, I gotta do this, you're literally setting yourself up to fail. So based on what we spoke about today, what's the best way to start, right? Take a week or two and see what you're eating. Okay. We're not even going to track anything. Just visually see, maybe take a picture. Okay. Because the whole takeaway from this is there's no like special diet. There's no special macronutrient profile. There's no, if I'm off a gram here, it's going to throw everything off. What the big takeaway here is the consistency, right? Think of yourself as an experiment, right? If you want to know, like any science fair experiment, if you want to know a specific result, how a specific result is going to happen, you need to make sure that everything kind of stays the same. So there's no guesswork. So, if I have, a guy that comes to me and says, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds. All right, bro, what do you eat? I eat 5 McDoubles a day and a gallon of chocolate milk, right? Which approach am I going to take? Number one, all right, I need you to start eating 5 salads a day and water. Or number two, all right, instead of eating 5 McDoubles a day with a gallon of chocolate milk, how about we do 4 McDoubles and like 3/4 of chocolate milk? I could do that. All right, sure, run that. 2 weeks later, hey, bro, I lost 5 pounds. Oh, okay. Now, how about we say 3 McDoubles, a salad, and like half a gallon of chocolate milk? Oh, okay, I can do that. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, hey, bro, I lost 5 pounds. Okay, now you have a system now that they're bought into. Because as a coach, the result is like, it's going to happen if they stick to it. What did I just say? If they stick to it. So, a lot of coaches will just give you a meal plan and say, all right, hey, call it a day, give me a testimonial in 6 months so I can put it on my website and good luck with life, right? That's not me. Okay. It's all about, addressing where the issue is. Where is the disconnect? Why can't you do that? It's because a lot of folks can't stick to something. Once you unlock the adherence mechanism, the rest is easy. Okay. So that's one perspective. And the other one, which ties into it, is if you really want to get it done quickly, get help. That's what I did. You know, this isn't even a plug for me. You can get help. I can refer you to other coaches. I can refer you to other programs. I could say, hey, get on that Weight Watchers if it worked for you before and stick to it. Whatever it is, get help, because what it's costing you to try to figure it out on your own is time. It's not that you can't figure it out on your own. I'm sure there's somebody today that's going to take this and run with it, and in a year it's like, oh my God, right? But I try to figure things out on my own for a long time. I tried keto, I tried intermittent fasting, I tried cutting the carbs, I tried all of it. And it just got to a point that I'd always bounce back because I couldn't stick to something, you know. And then once I understood the principles of why this thing works, I molded it into my lifestyle so I can stick to it. I don't know if that answers your question, but I'll keep going if you want me to.
That is perfect. That's perfect, because that's one of the things too, is like with some of those fad diets, it makes it very clear, stop eating carbs. Okay, I can conceptualize that. So getting to this where it's more about the process, having that idea of like, oh, we're gonna, take this one step at a time, just change your habits a bit. I love the idea of don't do anything. First, just figure out what you're already doing and then go from there. I mean, that's fantastic. As somebody who does exactly what you described all the time, like, it's easy. I can eat no sugar, no carbs. I'll do it for 3 days, feel tired, but like, oh, I'm accomplishing my goals. And then it gets to Saturday. I'm like, donuts seem good. I could eat donuts today. It goes away quickly. So the idea of like, well, just stop, take stock and go from there. It's cool. All right. So we got, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just to bring that full circle, right to your point, right? There's no such thing as bad food. Yeah, we should stay away from processed stuff, and you want to eat stuff that grew from the ground, grows on a tree, had a face, right? That's usually the way you want to go. But life's too short. You want a donut, eat a darn donut, okay? And I didn't want to say donut, all right? But let's give an example, right? Stacy, I'll use you as an example, right? If I gave Stacy 10,000 calories worth of chicken and broccoli, right? Lean protein and basically grass, right? Or little trees for the next 90 days. And me, all I'm allowed to eat is one Twinkie a day. All right. In the next 90 days, who do you think is going to lose weight?
I'm going with you. I've learned something today. I'm going with you.
Right? Because it comes down to energy balance. When it comes to weight, it doesn't matter what you eat. Okay. When it comes to health, it matters what you eat. But when it comes to like the number on the scale, it's just energy balance. Food is just energy. Okay. What's a donut? It's basically sugar. Oh wow, a carbohydrate, right? Now, probably not the best source of carbs because that's like a super fast carb, like simple sugars. There's a way you can use it depending on what your goal is. But in the grand scheme of things, again, it comes down to that budget. As long as you check off what you got to do in that budget to optimize your physique and your health, whatever you can fit in there, it's free game. Free game. I literally got a 6-pack eating ice cream every day.
I was laughing earlier too about talking about when you're a kid versus when you grow up, the activity you do. I played football. When you play Pop Warner, you have to make weight limits, right? So when I was younger, I ate nothing but pizza, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 weeks, and I lost enough weight to make. Yeah, it was. I still talk about that with my parents. But so we got a couple other questions. So one question, and maybe you understand. I don't understand exactly what this means, but any tips on specific foods for cellular health, especially after cutting down on sugars and caffeine?
Cellular health. Okay, so again, I'm not a dietitian, but let's try to break this down basically. Repeat the question again.
Tips on specific foods for cellular health, especially after cutting down on sugars and caffeine.
I'm gonna just go and get my buddy Protein in the conversation. Big time on protein. There's even I've read a study too that there are some, like, for cancer patients, right? We're talking cells, right? Protein repairs our cells. Okay, repairs our cells, repairs our hair, repairs our nails. It's good for our skin. So if you want anything on a cellular level besides water, because we're 70% water, you want to eat a lot of protein. And when I say a lot, I mean adequate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the FDA has like a minimum requirement of like I don't know, like 0.7 grams or something. But I always, in my world, I say a gram per pound of body weight or lean body mass, just so even if you're overshooting it, that macronutrient you can't store as fat anyway. So why wouldn't you want to do that?
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. Because I had no idea what that meant. So that seems good. And then there's a question about cortisol and how it holds on to fat. I don't know if you want to handle that, because I think that would fall probably more into that kind of like doctor-ish realm. Maybe not. I don't know. This seems very technical to me anyway. And then also wondering about how often you would recommend checking in with a coach, or I guess that would expand to whoever is holding you accountable, but maybe particularly with a coach who's kind of specifically working with you on this.
Okay, so cortisol, right? Again, I haven't, studied this in depth, okay? That's why I gave the disclaimer from the beginning. But, I don't know if you guys ever had like, let me break it down this way. I think this will be a good way, right? When you're losing weight, you're putting your body under stress. Why are you putting your body under stress? Because you're taking in less calories than you're burning, okay? So the first thing your body is going to say is, oh my goodness, we can't sustain this. We need to get rid of something. What's that sensation that you feel when you're eating less calories than you burn is hunger, right? That sensation, think of it as a signal of your brain telling you to get rid of something. The first thing it's going to get rid of is muscle, right? Because muscle is metabolically super expensive, right? It takes a lot of work to keep it on. You got to eat ample amounts of protein. You got to be resistance training at least 2-3 times a week, right? And training pretty hard, okay? So once you get that out of the way, once your body recognizes, okay, we're still keeping up with this, oh, let's get rid of fat, okay? Now, your body doesn't want to get rid of fat. You need fat to survive. And once you start getting, some steep levels of like, under 10%, 9%, and for women, I think it's a little, women's body fat, they hold a lot more body fat than us men because, y'all hormones are set up a lot different than ours. But so I think the equivalent for that would be, sub 20%. That's when things start getting kind of weird. That's when your hormones start plummeting. That's when, your libido goes down. That's when your mood starts swinging like crazy, because those stress hormones are super high. That's why I'm huge on sleep and just huge on just living your life with a positive like attitude. Okay. Don't wrap your head too much around the science. Just make sure you're feeling good. That's why I tell people all the time, like a lot of folks, I'm not sure who else is on here, but that knew me from Bridgewater, I was usually a pretty like a positive minded guy, because in my head, if I don't keep that up, that can like destroy the goals that I have fitness wise. And it sounds like way left field, but it's true. It's true. And in sleep too. How many of you guys can operate on 3 hours of sleep? 4 hours of sleep? Maybe you can operate, but can you operate optimally? That's the question, right? Do you guys want to just get by, or do you want to like be your best? I don't know if that answers the question. I don't know if there was a second part of that question too, besides the cortisol.
How often to check in with a coach?
So that's preference, right? That goes down to preference. Typically, so what I do when I work with my clients, they send me a form every week. But like one-on-one calls we do once a month. But I still have like a discretion like buffer. If someone wants to just, hey, I need to talk to you, then all right, what's up? The way it works too with our system is when they're on the app, if you literally need to having the app, being in the program on the app is like having it in your back pocket for like 90 days or however long you want the program duration to be, right? Depending on the package. So if you're like at the grocery store and need to send me a message, I'll answer you as soon as I can, unless I'm like, busy doing something. But my phone's usually on me because I work through my phone. And that as soon as someone says something in the app, I get a notification. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? You know what I mean? So it varies from coach to coach. I think weekly or bi-weekly is fine, but you definitely, if adherence is one of the things that really works for you, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, it still works for me. As much as, I went through this journey and all that, I still have a coach. I still have to check in with someone to make sure that I'm staying on point. That's just how I operate. Okay. But yeah, as many times let's answer it this way. As many times as you feel that you need to get the job done, okay? And I've had folks that I'm holding their hands, and talking to them multiple times a day, and they still don't do anything. You know what I mean? So, does the coaches aren't here to help you do things, right? Coaches are here to help you when things go wrong. If you hit a speed bump, that's when the coach comes in. But you have the blueprint to do what you just have to execute it. And then if you don't understand something, hey coach, what does this mean? Hey coach, what does this mean? Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Somebody was asking about your contact information, which I think you put up. If you have, I don't know if you had that slide, which had, I think like your social on there, might have had your name on there too. I don't know if you want to put that up just at the end here. I think we have one more question for anybody who needs to drop. We're recording this, so if you missed the last question, then you can always watch the recording. And also, I like your answer that as many times as you need to get it done. I was going to tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to teach, you should do it. You're very entertaining, and being able to switch from in person to doing it via Zoom on short notice is it's a skill. Not everybody can do that. So, but that's a very teachery kind of answer. People always ask, like, how long does the essay have to be? As long as it needs to be, right? So, I think this is going to be our last question, unless somebody has another one.
Okay.
How many hours a week do you spend exercising? I think that's specifically you. How many hours do you spend? And then, also, what do you recommend, like hours dedicated to weights versus cardio? So maybe you can talk about the exercise side of things.
Great question. So when it comes to resistance training, so personally, it comes down to the goal, right? If you're just, a guy that's trying to, or a girl that's trying to look good with your clothes off, quite frankly, right? Just want to have a nice physique. You can, you go to the gym 2-3 times a week for like 45 minutes, as long as you're training hard. Okay. When I say training hard, and I don't want to get too sciencey again, but like, let's say you're on a bench press and you're, doing a set of 10, right? And it's, let's say on your program, it says 3 sets of 10 and you do 10, but you could have done like 15. You're not going to grow from that. You literally have to force your body to adapt. And I don't want to get too deep into like concepts of hypertrophy and all that. If you guys want to talk about that, just talk to me directly. But I just tell people, you want to train hard because your body doesn't want to change. It's stubborn. That burning sensation you feel once you start like getting towards the end of a set and you're just like, oh, this hurts. That's when 90% of people stop. I was at the gym literally this morning. When I start feeling that burn, I start smiling. Sounds crazy. But because I know that this is where the money reps are, and this is where my body is going to be forced to adapt so I can become bigger, stronger, start, getting bigger muscles and looking the way I want. Now, personally, I'm pursuing bodybuilding this year. I'm actually going to be doing my first show in the summer. So my goals are probably a little bit different when it comes to how many hours I'm in the gym versus somebody that's just trying to look good, and for just their lifestyle. So I put in, currently right now, my protocol, I'm probably in the gym. I resistance train about 4 times a week. Sometimes I'll go in there a 5th time to like do a small muscle group, but I'm in there for about an hour, 15 to an hour and a half. I try not to push more than that just because I kind of feel like a drop off because I like training really hard. So I tell people, do you want to train long or you want to train hard? You know what I'm saying? So I like keeping the intensity super high. So once once I'm in there for like 90 minutes, I try to go home. And in terms of cardio, you don't want to overdo it. Walking is so underrated. Just getting some steps every day. Let's say just go walk for 30 minutes a day. If you do nothing, right, and you just start walking, okay, you have a new variable. If you're walking, 5,000 steps a day, for example, and you don't change a thing, you will see a difference because something just changed. You know what I mean? And for your heart health, I think if we're talking like on like an elliptical or like a treadmill or something, if you're into that stuff, a session or 2 a week at like 30 to 40 minutes with a steady heart rate, something that you can still have a conversation, but you're panning a little bit is fine. And there's other techniques too if you want to do higher intensity, but if you guys want to get dive deeper into the training side of things, just contact me. We can talk all about it.
Excellent. So I don't see any more in the chat, and you've given us a ton of your time, which I really appreciate. And I know everybody else did too, because we usually don't get this many positive reactions in the chat as things are going. Everybody's really enjoyed it. And honestly, like, this is, for me at least, it feels much more manageable coming in. You see that we're going to be talking about like health and, maintaining your weight and dieting and things like that. It's like, oof, this is going to make me feel bad by the end. I feel great. I actually feel very confident. I feel like, oh, there's a bunch of things that I can do. Super simple, easy changes. I do not work for Carl, by the way. We just met like an hour ago. This is not me trying to sell anything for you, but this was really, really helpful. I appreciate it. And yeah, I think everybody else got a lot out of it. So thank you. Appreciate the time. And thanks everybody for joining. And I will now turn it back over to Alexis to kind of close us out here.
Thanks again, Carl. What a good presentation. I know for me personally, I always feel I have like a lot of weight to lose, while we're sharing on Aluminar, but I always feel like really overwhelmed, like where do I even start, So I really could relate to like the whole like house analogy. I know it seems like it's crazy, but I mean, it really makes a lot of sense. And I've been trying to start to drink more water. So I'm working on it. I got to start with one piece at a time, I think.
That's it. That's the magic recipe right there. Just what can I do and what can I do consistently? That's where you start. Once you figure that out, snowball effect, and then boom.
Yeah, I think it's hard for people. I mean, like, I'm just going to add my 2 cents because we already gone long anyways. But I mean, I think it's hard for people because most people have busy lives, right? And sometimes it's really hard to create that routine in your life. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people on this call that can relate to that, your jobs, and you're getting pulled in all different directions with kids and dropping them off at school. And like every day is not exactly the same. So I feel like it's hard to sometimes begin to create that routine. But this was really helpful. I think it really put things into perspective. So thank you. And also thank you to Rob for his effortless facilitation. I definitely couldn't do this without you. And we hope to see you all at our next Aluminar that will be in March. We have not released what the topic will be yet, but that will be coming soon. You can check www.bridgew.edu/alumni for more information. Or look for those registration announcements to come out on our social media in the next few weeks. Also, I just wanted to share a few exciting updates. We will be having in-person events in Florida this year. I don't know if anyone on this particular call is in the Florida area, but we will be having Florida from March 5th to the 8th, and details will be coming out in the next few days on that as well. So if you're living in Florida or visiting Florida for the winter, or you're just down there on vacation, you happen to be in the area of one of our receptions, feel free to swing by. And just in case anyone missed it, we did release the save the date for Homecoming 2022, which will be October 1st. It's an easy one to remember. So I will remind you at many Aluminars up until October. But, get that October 1st date on your calendar. We had a great turnout this past October. And, we always want more. So definitely come back if you can. And as always, if you have any suggestions for future Aluminar topics or presenters, or any feedback you would like to share regarding our Aluminar series, please feel free to email us at alumni@bridgew.edu. And on behalf of the entire alumni office, I thank you for spending your Wednesday afternoon with us, for learning some things from Carl, and I wish you all continued health and happiness. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.